Hello, America. Welcome to another episode of the Smoking Truth Podcast. Just getting home from the old office and in my office. I really want to talk today about this important thing called perspective. You know, a lot of people self sabotage themselves by their perspective. I know I've said it on this video cast, video chat, or video series of talks and friends here before that, if you believe that you can't, you're more than likely going to be correct. And if you believe that you can, you have a high probability of success. A story about perspective, I believe it's a true story. They said it on the internet. It has to be true. There was a repairman, and he was called out to fix a refrigerated car on like a train, something like that. Somehow he gets himself locked inside of the refrigerated train car that he was needing to repair. So over the course of hours that he was locked in there, he writes messages on the wall. It starts off, "I'm so cold. Oh my God, I'm going to freeze to death. I can't feel my hands," etc., etc. It goes on a detailed journal for multiple hours. 8 or 9 hours later, someone opens a train car, and there's the repairman, dead. Man froze to death, right? No. Remember, he was there to repair the refrigerated train car. The train car itself was about 63 degrees. Well, he ran out of air. No, there's plenty of air. He basically, due to his panic and perspective, he willed himself to die. You know, sometimes our perspective is just so horrible than what the factors going on around us actually are. There was probably a ship captain who was going through some rough territories and some fog and whatever, and he's like, "Oh, we'll be just fine." And the ship hits an iceberg, and a lot of people drowned and or freeze to death. That was called the Titanic. They made a horrible movie about that. Was that 20 years ago? Some old lady has a flashback of how she got her back blown out by Leonardo DiCaprio and let him die in the cold water when there was enough room on the raft for two people. That's my perspective of that movie. You probably have yours. Maybe you think it's just a beautiful romance that she let him die. Anyhow, perspective. Really the saying is really, don't get too high where you're kind of filling yourself full of fantasies and fallacies and you're ignoring key indicators of what's really going on around you. You might think that, oh, I have the best relationship in the world and everything's going great, and you don't notice that your partner is miserable. That typically does not end well. You could just think that, you have the worst boss in the world, you have the worst job in the world, whatever it is, and then you go to find that greener grass, and then you're like, holy freaking, I should have never went to work at a Cracker Barrel. No, I'm kidding. It's about perspective. The mornings is like you wake up and you've got energy, and there's like, I'm going to take on this day. Odds are you get up and you take on that day, and it's like, and you look back on how that day went, and it's like, that was a pretty good day. And then other days you wake up, it's like, man, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to fill out these forms I got to take care of. I'm so behind, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, by the end of the day, you're probably like emotionally drained because you started yourself in this hole of dread. It's really just about your perspective, not getting too high like emotionally, not like Snoop Dogg high. That's a whole nother episode that I know nothing about. And it's not about getting too low or like, oh, the world is going to collapse. Hey, you think about every horrible day that you've had, and you and I have one thing in common: we are still here and we got through it. There's a few times in my life I just thought it was the end of the world. It's all so horrible and whatever. And the next day the sun came up, and you just put your pants on one leg at a time. You put your shoes on, and then you just keep moving forward. Don't sabotage yourself with a unrealistic perspective, and don't sabotage yourself, with a horrible perspective where you think everything's just like doom and gloom. If you think that, if your perspective is you ignore all these signs, you're invested in the stock market, and it's like, no, the market's not going to crash. Market's not going to crash. I'm going to pump money into it, and there's a big sell-off. Your unrealistic perspective from you ignoring the things going on, all the key signs around you, a lot of indicators and indexes and whatever that stuff Warren Buffett uses. You're going to lose a bunch of money. And the same goes, if you think the market is horrible and you ignore like a bunch of growth factors and all these things. It's very obvious I know nothing about stocks or Bitcoin, or that's a scam. Anyhow, then you know what? You're going to lose a bunch of money. The most successful people, they're probably not really an optimist. They're not really a pessimist. They're kind of a realist. They take the information that is there, they seek information, and then they make their decisions. It's like Warren Buffett probably doesn't say, well, I'm going to put $1 billion into this company and hope it comes out for the best. No, he's probably got an idea of what he looks for and what makes companies successful. That's my talk today. Odds are life is better than you think. If you're getting yourself too low, if you're getting yourself a little too high, there's always that thing. Be humble. Have that attitude of gratitude. Great book by Keith Harrell. I'll have to look that up, I believe. He wrote several books, Attitude of Gratitude. It's really just about being grateful for what you have, not being afraid to go out and increase that, make that better, and enrich your life, enrich your kids' lives, enrich the lives of people around you. But always be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the recognizing the good people that are around you. And at times you also have to recognize that you may have some horrible people around you that you need to move on and move out of your life. It works both ways. That's my talk for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to The Smoking Truth. I will talk to you soon, and I will do a much better job of getting these videos done. I've also been recording some videos and not releasing them. A lot of good that does. So, my friends, be humble, but be great. Attitude of gratitude. Talk to you soon.